Top 10 Fascinating Facts About the Fly Agaric. This organism, seemingly lifted from a science fiction novel, showcases the power and ingenuity of nature, manipulating the very life of its insect hosts. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover the top 10 fascinating facts about this fungus, revealing stories that range from the macabre to the amazing. Number 10. A resource for scientific research. One of the most fascinating features of the fly agaric is its mechanism of infection and propagation. The fungus releases spores that adhere to the insect's surface. Once these spores penetrate the host, they begin to grow and multiply, feeding off the fly's interior until it causes death. In the final stages of infection, the fungus induces the insect to climb to an elevated point, where it ultimately dies. This allows the fungus to release spores from a height that maximizes their dispersal, demonstrating a sophisticated interaction between parasite and host. From a scientific research perspective, the fly agaric offers a living model to study the interactions between parasites and their hosts, including the molecular and genetic mechanisms underlying infection and behavioral manipulation. These studies not only shed light on the ecological and evolutionary dynamics of parasite-host relationships but also may have practical applications, such as the development of more effective and environmentally friendly biopesticides to control populations of harmful insects. Furthermore, studying the fly agaric fungus contributes to the field of mycology, expanding our understanding of fungal diversity and their ecological roles. Research in this area may uncover new fungal species, as well as bioactive compounds with potential applications in medicine, agriculture, and biotechnology. Number 9. Influence in literature and film. In literature, the fly agaric has served as a metaphor for control and manipulation, exploring themes of free will versus determinism. Science fiction and fantasy authors have imagined worlds where parasitic fungi control the minds of humans or fantastical creatures, in a distorted echo of the relationship between the fungus and flies. These narratives often raise deep questions about identity and autonomy, drawing inspiration from the life cycle of the fly agaric fungus to explore the nature of mind control and loss of self-will. In film, the impact of the fly agaric has been equally significant, albeit often more visual and visceral. Horror and science fiction movies have used the concept of parasitism and mind control to create tension and horror. The depiction of creatures or humans under the influence of a parasitic entity directly refers to the fatal influence the fungus exerts on flies. These stories often play with the fear of losing control, using the real life of the fly agaric fungus as a starting point to explore stories of invasion and subjugation. In both literature and film, the fly agaric symbolizes the fear and fascination that mind manipulation provokes. Through this lens, authors and filmmakers have explored the dark possibilities of external influence on behavior and the mind, using the extraordinary nature of the fungus as a means to investigate the limits of individuality and autonomy. Thus, the fly agaric has not only left its mark on the natural world but also in the cultural imagination, serving as a source of inspiration for stories that reflect our own concerns about control and identity. Number 8. Variable toxicity. The toxicity of the fly agaric varies significantly depending on several factors, making it a particularly interesting organism from a toxicological perspective. One of the primary active components of the fly agaric is muscarine, although the concentrations of this compound can be quite low. However, it contains other psychoactive compounds such as ibotenic acid and muscimol, which are responsible for most of its psychoactive and toxic effects. The variability in the toxicity of Amanita muscaria can be attributed to several factors, including its geographic location, the soil conditions in which it grows, the season, and the maturity of the fungus. These elements can significantly influence the concentration of its active chemical compounds, resulting in variable potency. Interestingly, the traditional treatment of the mushrooms before consumption, such as drying or cooking, can modify their toxic compounds, converting ibotenic acid into muscimol, which is less toxic and more psychoactive. This conversion not only reduces the toxicity of the mushroom but also changes the nature of its effects on the consumer, leading to its use in rituals and shamanistic practices in some cultures. Number 7. Varieties of color. Amanita muscaria can be found in different parts of the world, adapting to various habitats and climates, which has led to a diversity of forms and colors. These variations include shades of yellow, orange, and even white. The Formosa variety, for example, is notable for its bright yellow cap, while the Regalis is more brown or bronze. This diversity of colors is not merely aesthetic. It has significant ecological and evolutionary implications. The different colors may reflect adaptations to different environments, as well as variations in the presence of active chemical compounds within the fungi. Amanita muscaria contains hallucinogenic substances, mainly muscimol and ibotenic acid, whose concentrations can vary among the different colored varieties. In addition to its natural beauty and ecological importance, Amanita muscaria has played a role in various cultures throughout history, from its use in shamanic rituals in Siberia to its appearance in European tales and legends. The variation in the color of these mushrooms could have influenced their perception and symbolism in different cultural contexts. Number 6. Resilience and adaptability. This fungus is a parasite that infects flies and other insects, using a direct infection mechanism that seems lifted from a science fiction novel. Once the spores of E. muscae come into contact with their host, they germinate and penetrate its body, beginning a process of consumption from the inside out. The extraordinary aspect of this process is how the fungus manipulates the behavior of its host, directing it towards an elevated place just before death. This behavior ensures that, when the fly dies and the fungus emits its spores, they are dispersed more effectively, maximizing the chances of infecting new hosts. The resilience of E. muscae not only lies in its ability to survive and thrive in a wide range of environmental conditions but also in its ability to adapt to different types of hosts. This adaptability is a testament to evolution and how organisms can develop complex strategies to ensure their survival. The dual nature of the fly agaric, as both object and organism, invites us to reflect on the wonders of nature and the intricate web of ecosystem relationships. The story of the fly agaric fungus is a clear example of how resilience and adaptability are not just human characteristics, but fundamental principles that permeate the entire natural kingdom, offering valuable lessons on survival and coexistence. Number 5. Geographic distribution. The Amanita muscaria is primarily found in the temperate and boreal regions of the Northern Hemisphere, although its presence is not exclusively limited to these areas. Its geographic distribution spans from Europe to North America, including both the United States and Canada, and stretches across Asia to Siberia. Additionally, this fungus has been accidentally introduced to other parts of the world, including South America, Australia, and New Zealand, where it has adapted and now thrives in some local forests. Its wide distribution is partly due to its symbiotic relationship with certain trees. The fly agaric forms mycorrhizae, a symbiotic association with the roots of various trees, such as pines, firs, and birches. This mutualistic relationship not only aids the tree in absorbing water and nutrients but also allows the fungus to obtain sugars and other compounds necessary for its development. This ability to form associations with a wide variety of trees has enabled the Amanita muscaria to colonize an extensive range of forest habitats. Despite its attractive appearance, it's important to mention that the fly agaric is toxic and can produce psychoactive effects if consumed. Its toxicity has been recognized and utilized by various cultures throughout history for spiritual and medicinal purposes. However, consuming this mushroom without proper knowledge of its preparation can be dangerous. Number 4. A symbiotic relationship. Symbiosis is a relationship between two organisms of different species where both benefit and, in some cases, may come to depend completely on each other for survival. In the case of the fly agaric, its symbiotic relationship is established with certain trees, such as pines and birches. This fungus forms a network of mycelium, the vegetative part of the fungus, composed of threads called hyphae, around the roots of the trees, creating what is known as a mycorrhiza. Mycorrhizae are mutualistic associations where the fungus and the tree exchange nutrients and key benefits. On one hand, the fly agaric facilitates the tree's access to minerals and water from the soil that would otherwise be out of their reach. This is possible thanks to the extensive mycelium network of the fungus, which can explore a much larger volume of soil than the tree's roots alone. On the other hand, the tree provides the fungus with products of photosynthesis, such as sugars, which are essential for its growth and reproduction. This symbiotic relationship is a wonderful example of how species can coexist and thrive together, supporting each other in an exchange of resources that benefits both organisms. Additionally, the presence of fungi like the fly agaric in forests indicates a healthy and well-balanced ecosystem, where biodiversity and complex ecological interactions maintain the integrity and functioning of the system. Number 3. Psychoactive properties. Unlike other psychedelic mushrooms that contain psilocybin, Amanita muscaria induces a state of intoxication that can vary widely depending on the dose and preparation, ranging from mild perceptual changes to intense experiences that include visual and auditory hallucinations, feelings of euphoria, and alterations in the perception of time and space. However, its consumption is not without risks, as inadequate doses can lead to serious adverse effects, such as vomiting, confusion, and seizures. Historically, Amanita muscaria has been used in shamanic rituals by various cultures around the world, especially in Siberia, where shamans employed it to reach altered states of consciousness for spiritual and healing purposes. The traditional preparation of the mushroom for consumption involved specific processes that reduced its toxicity and enhanced its psychoactive effects. Scientific interest in Amanita muscaria and its compounds has grown in recent decades, especially in the field of psychopharmacology, where its therapeutic potential and mechanisms of action in the brain are being investigated. Despite its potential, the use of this mushroom remains controversial and is regulated in many jurisdictions due to its toxicity and the risks associated with its consumption without proper supervision. Number 2. Cultural icon. Since time immemorial, Amanita muscaria has held a prominent place in various cultures around the world, due not only to its striking appearance but also to its psychoactive properties. This mushroom has been associated with magic, spirituality, and shamanic journeys, especially in the cultures of Siberia, where it was used in religious rituals and as an entheogen to establish connections with the spiritual world. What links it so intimately to the concept of the fly agaric is not its capacity to attract or repel insects but rather its incorporation into iconography and folklore. The image of Amanita muscaria has been adopted in literature, film, and especially in fairy tales, where it is often illustrated as the home of small magical creatures. This representation has solidified its status as a symbol of the mystical and the enchanted, transcending its mere biological existence to become a fixed element in the collective imagination. Moreover, its presence in video games and modern popular culture, where it often appears as a power-up item or a portal to magical worlds, reinforces its role as a bridge between the real and the fantastical. This duality between its toxicity and its capacity to open doors to experiences and alternate worlds captures the essence of its cultural fascination. Number 1. A unique hunting method. The process begins when a spore of the fungus manages to adhere to the body of a fly. From there, the spore germinates, allowing the fungus to penetrate the inside of the insect. Using specialized enzymes, E. muscae feeds from the inside of the fly, initially avoiding vital organs to keep it alive as long as possible. During this time, the insect continues its life relatively normally, unaware that it is being consumed from within. As the fungus grows and develops inside its host, it begins to affect the fly's behavior. In the final stages of infection, the fungus manipulates the fly to climb to an elevated point. This alteration of behavior, known as the final submission behavior, ensures that when the fly dies, the fungus is in an optimal position to release its spores from a height, thus increasing the chances of infecting other flies. Finally, the fungus consumes the vital organs of the fly, causing its death. Subsequently, it sprouts through the insect's body, releasing new spores from its elevated position. This life cycle not only demonstrates the predatory efficiency of E. muscae but also underscores the complexity and brutality of the relationships between different forms of life in nature.